Could SIBO be the hidden cause of your long COVID digestive symptoms? Stay tuned to discover exactly what's going on in your body and what foods can make a difference. Hello and welcome to this growing community of people who are ready to heal from the weird mystery symptoms that conventional medicine doesn't have answers for. I'm Carrie Bailey. I am your functional nutritionist, and I work with people with anxiety, depression, and other weird mystery symptoms like long COVID. And we use specific therapeutic foods, supplements, and herbs to heal and reverse symptoms. Let's jump in and talk about what SIBO is. SIBO stands for small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. The idea is that there's bacteria that is residing in your small intestines as well as your colon. That bacteria is feeding on putrefying and decaying proteins and rancid fats. Now, this just doesn't happen overnight, right? It's taken years of dysfunction and just the right environment to create this SIBO. First, it's important to understand what's happening in your body that's allowed SIBO to occur. So this is happening in your body because you've lost your ability to make stomach acid, bile, and pancreatic enzymes. This is why when you add in HCl, ox bile, pancreatic enzymes, you feel better. Backing it up from there, you might ask, well, why don't I have enough stomach acid? Why don't I have enough bile? And why don't I have enough pancreatic enzymes? This can happen anytime over your lifetime, right? And it's usually when you've been exposed to one or more viruses. So in the instance of long COVID, you've been exposed to the coronavirus, which has triggered other viruses underneath. Those viruses have probably been in your body longer than COVID was. Once you get these viruses in your body, they don't just go away on their own. Other events that can disrupt your ability to make stomach acid, bile, and pancreatic enzymes are events like food poisoning or exposure to other pathogens. Just living on the earth, encountering other people, going to the grocery store, it's easy to be exposed to other pathogens. If you're new here, pathogens being any organism that's in your body, living off of your body. These pathogens get in there and start messing with the functioning of your organs. That's really what's happening. Long-term stress, right? That's like an excess adrenaline for a long time can also reduce your digestive enzymes because that excess adrenaline is feeding the viruses and the unwanted bacteria. They love that. They love your stress hormones. Thank you. And they're going to grow, right? That allows them to grow. And so that's why your symptoms get worse during these really stressful events. Some other factors that have allowed the creation of SIBO are the viruses are inflaming your nervous system. It's your nervous system that makes the motility. It's that peristaltic action that's happening that moves the food along through your digestive system and so that you can digest it and absorb the nutrients. But what happens in cases of virus attacks, if you will, is that the nerve is inflamed, and those nerves, like your vagus nerve, can't create the peristaltic action that it needs to happen through your body in order to move that food through your digestive system. So in SIBO, we call it sort of slow motility, right? So you could be moving too slow. If you have diarrhea, it could be meaning that you're not moving too fast, but either way, you're not digesting your food. So if it's moving too slowly through your digestive system, then it's allowing more bacteria to putrefy and for the bacteria to eat on that even more, right? Whereas if it's a diarrhea, it's probably moving too fast through the system. These viruses and bacteria can also create damage to the intestinal tract. If you imagine that your intestinal tract is like a tube, like a garden hose, if you will, right? It should be whole and complete, and that food should just move through and be digested. If you've had any abdominal surgery in your life, this could be appendectomy, gallbladder removed, C-section, hernia surgery, any kind of surgery that happens in your abdomen can affect your digestive system. So these surgeries, as well as viruses and bacteria, can create scar tissue, right? And they create adhesions. So an adhesion is when, like the hose, right, should be whole like this and open and round. An adhesion is when it gets glued to itself. Now it can get glued to other parts of your digestive system, your small intestines. It can get glued to itself, so if it creates a closure. So if you can imagine, if that food comes to this spot, it can't move through there, right? That's going to build up and cause problems and cause pain. You want everything to be able to go through there smoothly. And so these, again, the surgeries, the bacteria, the viruses can create scar tissue and adhesions. The other organs that are impacted are your liver and your lymphatic system, right? Because your liver is responsible for releasing bile. And so if it can't release bile, then it can't release toxins. Then you can't get the toxins out through your poop, right? Which is a major detoxification pathway. Your lymphatic system is how your body gets rid of waste. What happens is your liver and your lymphatic system are slowed or weakened from the accumulation of fat and toxins, right, that are building up in your system. Some of the signs and symptoms of SIBO are abdominal pain, cramping, bloating, fullness, distension. Digestive issues can be diarrhea, constipation, or both alternating, right? You can have indigestion, just feel like things aren't moving. Sometimes I hear that from people that just don't feel like they're moving. And you can have gas. So some other issues you might have is nausea, loss of appetite, unintentional weight loss, and malnutrition. Because again, you can't, if your digestive system isn't working well, you're not going to be able to, even if you're eating the perfect diet, you're not going to be able to get the nutrients out of the food because the system is broken, right? So even when you improve your diet, if the system is broken, it cannot digest your food well. The other question might be like, what other symptoms do you have outside of digestive? So we know in long COVID, you're going to have secondary issues to SIBO. You might have fatigue and brain fog, skin rashes, mood changes, headaches, joint pain. So these are all hints that there's more going on than just SIBO. These symptoms tell us that there is some kind of virus involved as well. Let's get into more of the true causes of SIBO. So we know that pathogens are the root cause of, well, all illness, but specifically SIBO. Pathogens are just at the top of the pyramid, but we need to know what kind they are. Are they viruses? Are they fungus? Are they mold? Are they unwanted bacteria? What kind of unwanted bacteria? So there's a couple things that I see that get missed in SIBO treatment, in my opinion. They're not getting the viral piece, understanding that viruses are the thing that affects motility, and that needs an antiviral, right? Which you can use food and supplements to get the antiviral. So those don't get addressed, but then also they're not necessarily addressing the right bacteria. They're looking for bacteria. They haven't isolated the bacteria. They just say, okay, it makes a hydrogen gas or a methane gas. But if you don't know the bacteria itself, it's hard to kill it. And again, if you don't understand it. So I think that there's a couple things that are also missing. So also the other piece that's missing is toxins, understanding that your exposure to toxins and toxins have to be relieved out of the system as well. So these could be petrochemicals, perfumes, plastics, mercury, things like that. Everybody has them. And someone with SIBO is not going to be able to get rid of their toxins as easily because their digestive system isn't working. One bacteria that I see a lot that gets missed is Streptococcus. So unfortunately, these bacteria can either be resistant to antibiotics or the antibiotics can actually make them grow, right? This is why so many people that are treated for SIBO with antibiotics find that the SIBO returns down the road, right? Maybe it takes a few months, maybe it takes a year. But in my experience, I've seen a lot of people that have had SIBO in their history or been diagnosed with SIBO. I think of this as sort of a treatment-resistant bacteria. It's likely if you've had SIBO, you've also had in your health history one or more of the following symptoms. And this is, again, what tells us it's Streptococcus. And that is acne, sinus infections, allergies, strep throat. That's the Streptococcus up here in your head. When you have UTIs, yeast infections, bladder infections, bloating, acid reflux, that's the Streptococcus living down in your lower torso. These symptoms are often treated with antibiotics, right? Again, which is making that Streptococcus grow and survive, right? So if you knock it down, except for just a little bit, right, you're allowing it to become bigger and stronger and immune to antibiotics. So to the point where the antibiotics don't work against it. So that Streptococcus is allowed to make its home, and it could be making it in your gut as well as any other parts of your body. Before I talk about solutions, I have a beautiful gift for you. It's my long COVID recovery guide. And this guide has my essential steps for healing long COVID. and I'm so excited to share it with you. I've left a link in the comments and the description below for you to access this amazing tool. So check it out. All right, let's get into diets. There's a lot of diets out there for SIBO. We've got the low FODMAP diet, we've got GAPS, we've got SCD, and we've got elemental diets. Let's go over those. So the low FODMAP diet does have some healing foods, which is good, but it also is okay with foods that I disagree with. So for instance, dairy, right? I don't think anybody should be taking dairy, but low FODMAP allows it. And again, low FODMAP is really focused more on symptom reduction, right? Which, yes, we want to reduce our symptoms, but there's a difference between symptom reduction and symptom healing, which is more of my focus. The GAPS diet is successful, similar to carnivore and keto, in that it's removing glucose and sugar, but it does allow fermented foods and dairy foods later in the diet, right? So it's a process, right? But it's also a high fat diet, which is why I don't like it. But again, it's probably why it works, because you're taking out all the sugars. The SCD diet is another option. It stands for specific carbohydrate diet, and it's a little more paleo-ish. It's something between paleo and autoimmune paleo. The elemental diet is a man-made liquid diet. The idea is that it's all the nutrients your body needs broken down into their lowest form. So the proteins are broken down into amino acids. You've got the carbohydrates already broken down in their form. So in other words, it's supposed to be easy for your body to assimilate. I would argue that Mother Nature probably knows better than us humans about what's good for our body. I don't know if you've heard of the bee study, where they studied the food for bees and they tried to replicate it and all the bees died, right? So humans are amazing, but humans definitely don't know everything. And I don't think we've discovered everything that's in food in order to heal. Of course, if you suspect that you have SIBO, you should, or if you know you've been diagnosed with SIBO, you should not be eating eggs, milk, cheese, butter, gluten, because these feed bacteria and they feed viruses, if you've been watching my channel. So what should you be eating to improve SIBO? Next thing I'm going to share, I'm really excited to share this with you guys, because it's very easy and it's very healing for SIBO. It's going to be an adjustment, just like any dietary changes. It's going to be an adjustment, just like if you went on low FODMAP. But you're going to find a lot of success with this. The first food I want you to have is celery juice. Okay, it's a juice, not a food, but celery juice is amazing for SIBO in a lot of reasons. It increases stomach acid and bile production, right? That's what we want to do. It kills the streptococcus and viruses that we were talking about. It also helps reduce your sluggish liver, right? If you're going to drink it first thing in the morning, it's going to flush your liver out. It's been trying to work all night to get rid of those toxins for you. It's going to clear out any undigested proteins and rancid fats that have built up over years in your small intestines. It's going to relieve bloating. Celery juice is an excellent source of minerals and electrolytes. So if you know that you struggle with hydration and electrolytes and you feel like you're always thirsty, things like that, that celery juice is going to be amazing for you. Now, the way to make it, the details are important, right? So don't go buy the store-bought brand. You need to make it fresh each day, and you need to consume it within 24 hours of making it. It's just not as effective after that. So store-bought doesn't work because it's pasteurized and it's been sitting there. You're going to want to use either a juicer or a blender. If you use a blender, you can use a nut bag, you can use a fine mesh strainer, but you want it to be the consistency of juice. You don't want it any pulp, no pulpy orange juice, right? You want it to be the consistency of water. You don't want to add water, add ice, or add anything. So if you put it in the blender, just start slow, right? Let it make its own juice. It will juice very quickly. But you don't want to add any water, no lemon, no honey, no nothing. Ideally, you're going to drink 2 cups first thing in the morning. And optionally, you can work up to 4 cups throughout the day. So that's step 1. If you're sensitive, start with 4 ounces, right? At a time, right? Maybe you have 4 ounces, an hour later, you have another 4 ounces, right? Just gradually, slowly, just like I always talk about, start low, go slow, and titrate that across the day. Your second food is amazing, an actual food. It's low on the FODMAP, if that makes you feel better. It's also SCD compliant, and you could eat it all day, every day, instead of the elemental diet. It's papaya. So you want to find a papaya that is either organic or a maridol. to ensure that it's not genetically modified. Yes, they genetically modify papayas. Now, it is amazing for healing SIBO. It digests very easily. It has naturally occurring digestive enzymes in it. It's amazing for constipation. You can eat it whole with like lime. Like I love to squeeze some lime juice on there. Or you can also blend it and drink it. It has plenty of calories to sustain you, so you can eat as much as you want to sustain your hunger. So you can literally eat this papaya all day long. And the third food is lettuce. I know it seems like rabbit food, but it's much more powerful than that. You want to make sure to get either a butter lettuce or a red leaf lettuce. It's very gentle, so it's not going to irritate your digestive system. Because remember, if you have that environment where you don't have enough stomach acid, well, the celery juice is going to increase the stomach acid, but then the lettuce is going to be able to be broken down. It's going to increase the alkalinity of your digestive system. It's going to increase your stomach acid. It's going to kill any H. pylori if you have H. pylori in your stomach. This is the bacteria that causes GERD or stomach ulcers. Lettuce supports your lymphatic system and gets rid of all the plastics, the pesticides, the heavy metals, and it makes your lymphatic system more alkaline. So it makes it easier to get rid of toxins. And lettuce is an amazing source of minerals, much more than I would say you would find in a multivitamin. You're always going to find some minerals there. The minerals in lettuce is going to be much healthier for you. Lettuce is also antiviral, antibacterial. And when you eat lettuce in combination with papaya, whether you eat them together or alternate them, the papaya helps you digest your lettuce. I know a lot of people are really concerned when I suggest eating celery juice, papaya, and lettuce all day long, every day. You can do this for a week. And a lot of people get worried. They're like, Carrie, where am I going to get my protein? But let me assure you that there is protein in lettuce. In fact, the protein in lettuce is the most bioavailable source of protein there is. In place of the elemental diet, I recommend these three foods: papaya, lettuce, and celery juice, and you could do this for a whole week. You can eat as much as you need to satiate your hunger. There's a lot of calories in papaya. Eat as much as you need to do. After a week, if this diet feels good, then stay on it. Keep doing it. You can do it longer. You can survive on papaya, lettuce, and celery juice. Otherwise, go back to eating fruits and vegetables. Maybe that's a fruit and green smoothie for breakfast, a salad, again, sticking with butter lettuce and red leaf lettuce. For lunch, you could top it with some avocado, some lemon, or some lime for dressing, and any other kind of vegetables that you like in there. If you have any questions about this, pop a comment below. I'd love to support you and answer your questions. If you're loving this video, give me a thumbs up so that YouTube shares my video with more people. Instead of supplements and herbs today, I'm going to talk about roots that heal SIBO. So ginger is amazing. You can buy fresh ginger, or you can buy a ginger tea, whatever works for you. So if you buy fresh ginger, you're going to want to get like an inch or two of fresh ginger. You don't need to peel it. Just chop it up or grate it up, even just slicing it really thin. And you're going to put it in with 2 or 3 cups of water, and you're going to let it steep. You can drink it hot, you can drink it cold, and you can just strain it through a fine mesh strainer when you're ready to drink it. You can add honey, you can add lemon, and you can drink like 3 cups a day. So ginger, very healing for the digestive system and SIBO. Another root that I like is burdock root. You can buy it again you can buy fresh root and steep it. You can buy the tea bags. I like Buddha teas if you want to find a brand that has a burdock root tea. You could drink as much as 3 cups a day. All right, that's it for today. I appreciate you for watching to the end, and if you feel the same, consider subscribing to my channel so that you can be the first to see my videos as I release them each week. Thank you so much for being here. Bye for now.